Everybody, and good evening, happy night. Welcome into the EIF 2018 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. As always, your host of the ceremonies, the master of ceremonies, EIF owner Carney. And wow, it's that time of the year again. Hard to believe already, but EIF WrestleMania 11 less than 24 hours away. In fact, less than 15 hours away. We get it kicked off tomorrow at noon, and we're so happy to hopefully have not only just the superstars, but you, the fans. And we know our superstars act as secondary fans, and there's a lot of guys that unfortunately were not able to make that card, but I certainly hope that they will be there along with all the competitors. We have put together the biggest card in Extreme International Fighting's 11-plus year history. 25 matches booked for tomorrow. That includes the 16-man ED tournament. That was an open invite tournament. We're giving a lot of money away in that. And man, it's crazy. You know, I remember WrestleMania tournament 3 years ago. We're giving a lot of money away in that. I think we had 7 or 8 matches booked total. I mean, it was bad, but you know, it's the evolution of EIF. And that's why we're here. That's what the Hall of Fame is about, because EIF has evolved over time, and I don't think it would have had it not been for so many people from the past. It's almost like the brick and foundation of this league. And by the way, we're going to get another guy in here soon. So we've got 2 guys getting inducted tonight. We're going to have a couple of people speaking outside of just those 2 superstars. We've got some guests, I should say, expected to be here, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But, you know, when you look at WrestleMania and when you look at what it encompasses, you know, it's a lot of work. And I can tell you from my perspective, you know, a lot of these guys and a lot of the legends that we talk about in EIF past and over the time in EIF, you know, I was with those guys, and I remember being on all the time and putting this stuff together. You know, not just WrestleMania Day, but, you know, the weeks leading up to, you know, all the pay-per-views throughout the year doing that, you know. And I used to say this and a lot of guys will agree with me, that it didn't matter what pay-per-view it was, but when you woke up on a Saturday and you knew there was an EIF pay-per-view that night, you could just feel it as soon as you woke up. There was just something about it, because there was that kind of excitement in this league. And I'd like to believe that still exists for a lot of the guys that are coming up through the system here in EIF. My time has been subdued a bit, and I'm no longer the guy that's here 20 hours a week putting the effort in. It's difficult. But I tell you what, one of the things that's been really fun, and it kind of brings back all the old feelings, is the past 2 weeks. We're sort of hitting the home stretch of WrestleMania 11 in terms of preparation.
I mean, it's good for you though.
All right, guys, we're back on with the EIF 2018 Hall of Fame ceremony. TV exclusive right here on the EIF network. This is not available on Mixer, but don't forget, EIF WrestleMania 11 comes your way tomorrow, and it will be available live on both Twitch and Mixer. And don't forget to follow all these stuff along on the EIF network Twitter. So coming back here from some connection issues, and I'm going to let you guys know it's the scariest thing to see at WrestleMania weekend, I know, but wouldn't we rather have it at the Hall of Fame than the WrestleMania pay-per-view? I think so, and there are some issues that I kind of knew about ahead of time. So we're winging it right now with the internet. Big apologies there, and of course to the superstars. But what I was saying prior to having those internet issues is talking about the fact that EIF is all a combined unit of people that make this thing work. And you know, there's people that come across over time, and the Hall of Fame is the biggest debate, I think. And a lot of people will ask, you know, okay, this guy is a 5-time world champion. Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? This guy is a 10-time Intercontinental champion. Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? Wink, wink. The answer is that it's more than just winning championships. You got the reference. The answer is it's more than winning just championships to be a Hall of Famer in EIF. Now, that's certainly a big merit, but the skill is a big part of it. And sometimes the skill doesn't always get shown on the title side. Sometimes you're in 5-mans all the time fighting for championships, and it's hard to win all of those 5-mans. Other times you're dedicated, and sometimes you don't need to be the greatest skilled superstar. And we've seen that before when McDonough was inducted into the EIF Hall of Fame. Not a guy who blew the world away with stats, though he did beat EIF Hall of Famer Icon a couple times for the Superstardom title. But McDonough was a dedicated guy, a truly dedicated guy who was willing to help out. And tonight, I'm not inducting people for the sake of inducting somebody. I don't believe in that. And there's a lot of guys that could be, and they're right on the cusp of being considered an EIF Hall of Famer. But they're not there yet. So we only are inducting 2 people. And the last time we inducted 2 people in EIF has only been one time before, and that was 2012. Over the summer, and I remember it. We were playing Halo Reach. And this is back in my youthful days, the fun days, the golden era of EIF, as some people say, back in 2012, and when skill was seriously at a prime. And we inducted 2 superstars. We inducted Raymond, who is by far considered one of, if not the greatest competitor in EIF history, and we inducted Icon. And Icon of MES, who went on to become a world champion and went on to win the Superstardom title a few times and did so many great things in his career. And so we're happy to have him here again because there's 2 guys that are being inducted, and later on it's a guy who's being inducted for dedication. Now, the first guy that's going to be inducted is being inducted for his dedication, absolutely. But he is being inducted for his stats. He's being inducted for his skill. He helped EIF put the footprint on the Battle for Glory All-Stars tournament when he went with brutality to Game 7 of the first EFG, and now, to this day, everybody is still talking about it. I was actually just talking about that match one night ago, and as we get ready for our 7th annual Battle for Glory All-Stars tournament. He's a guy who I think went through a lot in his EIF career, but a guy who really helped us out. And when some of his friends decided to move forward and pursue other things, he stayed around to help. He didn't leave us in the fire. He was a true EIF soldier, I think, while he was here during his near 3-year tenure with EIF. And for that reason, I'm happy to induct this guy this year. He's also a guy that a lot of people had been asking about. I think this is probably the 3rd year in a row we were asked, you know, when is he going to get inducted? Is he going to get inducted? And once again, he was on the cusp. He was on the cusp. And then finally, you look again, you look a 3rd time, and you realize he deserves it. He deserves the opportunity, whether his last match is behind him from years and years ago, or whether there one day is a return. Regardless, and if there isn't, he ended his career on top. He won the EIF World Championship. That's a pretty good way to go out. But regardless, Legendary Chaos does deserve a spot in this Hall of Fame. His tag team partner and friend, one half of the Economy, Icon, is in the Hall of Fame. His great competitors and rivals like Brutality and Anthony, whom he fought at WrestleMania 6 for the Superstar Championship and defeated, they are in the Hall of Fame. He is going to join a class that features over 20 superstars, and among them, some elite top talent skill that over the course of an 11-year league that has featured over 500 different competitors, they are among the best. He is one of them. And now, tonight, it becomes official. Legendary Chaos, our first Hall of Fame inductee in 2018. And before we allow Chaos to speak, we're going to get the person to officially induct him, and we've already mentioned him a couple of times, and how could we not? Sort of coming in on last minute, and that's on my end, but we've talked about Icon a lot. Icon is the only other guy here in this party that's from a two-person class. It's not about quantity, it's about quality, and Icon knows that. A very good friend of mine who's been a part of this league now, and still we get to talk a little bit once in a while. We talk about whatever, whether it's Dragon Ball Z or just life or anything, and he's a good guy, and he's a big reason I think Chaos was able to stay in this league and achieve the success he did. Icon joined EIF 9 years ago. Later this summer would mark 9 years since Icon made his debut in this league and put his footprint on. Chaos did it as well, and so now to officially induct Legendary Chaos into the 2018 Hall of Fame, I bring to the mic EIF Hall of Famer, 2012 Hall of Fame inductee, former WrestleMania main event winner when he won the EIF World title at WrestleMania 6, controversial fashion, I might add. But I bring you nonetheless the leader, the creator of the Economy, Icon of MEF.
Good. I didn't know how this was gonna be, truth be told. But okay. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna get to it. I think Chaos was doing. I think he was one of the fastest. I think he went from 0 to like hero, you can say that. Probably the fastest out of anyone in the league. He didn't come in good. He came in garbage, to be honest with you. And he was easily main event. He was easily main event level within a very short period of time. And I feel like if he would have stayed in, I 100% believe he could have passed Finley and Raymond as the best skilled player in the game easily. And he's one of those people that you're not gonna appreciate until he's gone. And I think this Hall of Fame induction is way overdue. And I think it's nice that you guys are doing this finally. And I think that's all I got to say.
I appreciate you, bro.
Never get your tag team, Chaos and Damien. Big show and Gold Dust, the beginning. Dude, I should have got Damien in here. Damien just messaged me the other night. Oh, I should have got Damien in here. Fuck.
It's not too late. Got him, man.
2 things.
Golden shower.
1, congrats, and 2, do you know any places hiring? Oh, man. That would be great. Oh, man.
That fucker's like 40, right?
He was considering coming back. He was considering coming back. Let's not talk about this anymore because that might change his mind. All right, sorry.
In a wheelchair.
Well, we got a guy in a wheelchair getting inducted next. Anyway, all right. Well, with that, it's all about laughs and having fun. From Icon to me, now to talk the EIF Hall of Fame inductee, first of two in the 2018 class, from New York, Legendary Chaos.
It's about time, and I appreciate Icon's words. Appreciate your words, I actually didn't see myself going from, as Icon said, 0 to hero, as I did quickly. That was pretty nice to be recognized as. I like the way I went out. And, I know you'd want me to come back, but I'd like to go out and stay out the way I did as champ. It's definitely fun.
Velocity started back up in case you're interested.
No. Anyway.
Twice?
Yeah.
What? You get kicked out after one. Okay, let Ruben talk. This is a lot of.
Alright, yeah, let Ruben talk. Fucked up.
No, it's jokes. But yeah, overall, this definitely brought us together. We may have never met, me and Icon, me and Hostile, me and Brew, everyone, EIF oriented, and it's just something to always be grateful for, So it was a fun time, definitely. I'm not gonna regret it. Yeah.
May I add one thing?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we not forget that he was literally competitive and was beating anyone, like, at any time. He could have beaten anyone at any time. During, I say, like, the most, like you said before, the most competitive time in EIF. There was, like, a 3-year stretch of where it wasn't dominated by one single person. And I don't know how it is now, but that's pretty damn impressive. Especially...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely...
Yeah, see, it wasn't that way, though.
I took a lot of L's, but that was because of the people I was going against, which was like Raymond and Anthony and Brutality, Finley, every single match. So it wasn't
even
who Finley is
against you. It was
that's the point.
Crazy. Like Icon saying, there was no one, like, you didn't look at 2012 and go, oh, if you get matched up against him, that's an auto loss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone lost that year because all the best players played against each other and no one backed down from anyone. Like, no one ran from anyone. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how this league is now, but I can just tell. Like, there's no fucking way it's as competitive as it was summer 2012.
Well,
no, you can blame people or you can blame the game. There's really no telling. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't care what it is, but that year there was, and this is just like the top 5: Finley, Raymond, Anthony, Brutality, Ruben, and then there's a second tier, which was me. And there's a third tier, which is Greedy, Tripod.
All right. You couldn't just say there's a top 6.
No, because look. No, but all jokes aside, though, all jokes aside, Greedy was pretty damn good. Greedy beat me in summer 2012. A bit off of lag and BS, but he still beat me. So. I'm just saying, it was the most competitive, and Ruben and all the good people respected Ruben. It took Brutality to beat him. It took Brutality to beat him off of off of BS. If we're gonna talk about asterisks next to accomplishments.
You made me betray Orange King, not knowing you had a host.
It is a little eluding because you're like, oh my god, it went to a 7th game. It was like, well, because Brew was fucking cheating the hell out of them with 28-man moves. Like,
whoa.
I climbed up cheating is definitely the wrong. No, wasn't that Finley?
No, cheating is not the
right word.
Literally, no one knew some of the shit about that game like me. So you guys are just misinformed.
We were just go back to Ken Shamrock.
Sorry, we gotta get new sports.
Yeah, it wasn't cheating because it wasn't banned. He did it before.
Okay, but what if
I just got everything banned after that
question. If he would not have done those moves, if they wouldn't have been allowed, would you have beat Brew in the finals?
Yeah, what?
Definitely. I would say definitely just because I was cheated basically in 2 whole separate matches. One of them was that cage match that I just remembered.
Look, I'm not gonna lie though. Look,
just
that
climbed.
What
That was pretty crazy.
was it called? Battle for Glory.
That's a whole.
That tournament was the craziest tournament. Like that. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how I was gonna feel coming in here, but now I'm like reminiscing like a motherfucker. I'm gonna try not to do that.
There you go.
But like, look, that tournament though.
Look,
Look, no, seriously, look, that tournament. You can't say that tournament wasn't lit as fuck, right? It was.
Dude, we got our 7th one
Hybrid
coming up next month.
Dude, everyone had to cheat in that tournament because everybody's using good players. You know, look, we were all using bad.
I was really
like
expecting you to say something good, like, dude, the competition is cutthroat. Everybody wants to win. You're like, nah, dude, we just all cheat. Like, you know,
no, like that's look, literally though. Everybody was so good. We were like, "Yo, look, I don't want to lose this fuck. We're never gonna hear the end of it." So we all definitely cheated. Like, yo, look, in me and Hybrids match, I cheated like none else. So like, look, I can't say anything.
Honestly, now we're gonna fucking
Yeah, you're blaming me. They took. Think about it. Those fucking. What were those moves called?
6 years ago. This is fucking it's like taking away from Turnos, like NCAA wins with the Lions, like just fucking with Penn State. Just you're not gonna reinstate. He loses like 30 matches now because of it.
Look, though, everybody was cheating. Even Carney cheated. Like, I'm gonna bring it up. Carney cheated me out of my world title with Flip.
That wasn't the tournament.
You put me in a Royal Rumble match for my United States title.
No, look.
He put me in a fucking 12-man Royal Rumble match.
No, look, you want to talk about messed up? When I talk about messed up, I went in at number 1 for a Royal Rumble, and it was like back when like 30 people, or no, how many people?
Oh, I remember.
That?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, well, if you remember what it was, is it was 12, and then when you got eliminated, you would get the next.
You could come back.
Yeah. So I
and
went
you
from
almost
1 to like 26, and Carney like told
I could not believe
Finley
it.
and Chaos to double team me out of it. So you were talking
because I think you were 1. And I think everybody was still coming back, but you were your original guy.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was Cena until like 26. Yeah. He came out number 1.
He was Cena? I thought he was Cody Rhodes.
No, I came as Cena.
No, he was Cena.
I got eliminated by JTG. I don't remember who the other guy was, but I remember.
I just won't forget the time. Carney made to get into Icon's fucking white Techno Legend.
Get his ass out of here.
To get into Techno Legend with Icon to be on their team, I had to team up with Orange King and betray Orange King, not knowing he had a fucking host here. He told me, I want you to betray Orange King, and I fucking got down on that apron, and I fucking stood outside the ring while Orange King got his ass beat by No one told me the fine print. No one told me the fine print that he could fucking boot me offline forever. But thank you guys. I'm glad to know that when I sided between Owner and Icon and Techno, I chose Icon and Techno.
Yeah, we all do. Oh, jeez.
Dude, and I can imagine, like, I don't remember this much, but I can imagine Orange's reaction is probably like, oh, Greeny, you will pay for this one.
Your internet card will
looks like someone's going up after this match, and then the elevator music cues.
He would be saying some dumb shit like, "There's a storm coming, Greedy," and then like play fucking storm music in the goddamn background. I see fucking Orange doing that shit.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Looks like there's a flood coming. Flooding your modem, that is.
Look, I'm telling you. Wait, who can hear us on the stream? Because literally, though, I feel like this. I'm telling you, dude. Look, this literally. I feel like this can't possibly happen in EIF again. Dude. I'm over here sweating from laughter. That summer 2012 was like the craziest. I don't know what you can compare it to. I don't know what you can compare it to, like skill-wise, fun-wise. Are you kidding?
Well, here's the thing. This is what I tell. Look, I've had conversations with a lot of guys in the modern and old era, like Hostile. I was talking to Hostile about it earlier this week. 'Cause he was a big part of that too. You got to remember that, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, he was in that like top tier for sure.
Yeah,
you know, and so the thing is, you know, it's hard because the golden era of EIF, as it's been called, I feel like that's like, you know, WWE has the Attitude Era. We have called it the golden era. So many guys talk to it like that. But here's the thing, there is a gray area in the gold. You know what I mean? Like, it was fun.
Why do you think so?
It was skill. But again, the cheapness was there. We had a guy host booting that was running around like he's fucking Scooby.
And then
There's two.
You know, just
There's
fucking-
two,
Yeah, then
actually.
Sickness got the host booting, don't forget.
Sickness is not even talked about, but Ian was definitely still there.
And then Finley.
Yeah, you know,
Finley had those booters, so
Ian
you had to
was there.
run away and repair
Finley
offline
and the
party.
gamer tag changes.
Oh my
Yo,
God.
look.
Yo, I'm
do
pretty
you
sure
remember- yo,
somebody
do you
keeps
guys
hitting me
remember-
offline every time I go to start a show.
Be careful
I
with
keep
what we
getting
say
hit
because we are
offline.
on network, so we have to still keep
Look,
it.
yeah.
We're changing the rating
PG.
from TV PG to TV 14, but we can't go MA. So
Look, you guys remember when Finley, literally he's a top 2 guy, but like right next to Raymond. You could put him right next to Raymond as far as
Oh,
skill
I
yeah.
really
wise.
like how this Hall of
But,
Fame is going because it's actually turning into like an open discussion, and it's a history lesson for the new people watching.
Yeah,
Like
you gotta,
Assassins.
because the fact
this
that
was
I forgot
sick.
about is ridiculous. Okay, even Bertotti's in the party, and literally, if he still had his like bio, you'd see Bertotti's one of the most decorated, easily. Like he's easily
Oh my
one of the
God,
most
yeah.
decorated. He had
Yeah, his
had
stats
like
crazy.
triple-digit wins.
Had his
Oh, don't
record-
forget about the Paul Asian guys he had.
24.
That was a fun time.
If I'm right, no, wait, what was it? It was 22 consecutive BFG wins because I think you won game 6
Yeah.
and 7 against Chaos, and then you
He
didn't lose
literally-
any in the last 2.
He couldn't lose.
Wait, are we
there was a
talking
time
about Brew,
Bertotti.
Icon, or Chaos
Yeah, Brew.
retiring
We're
today?
talking about Brew.
I'm just joking.
Can we quickly
I'm-
mention, even though he does not, like, all due respect to him, I don't think he's one of the elite, but we got Chaos in here, we got Brew in here, Chaos, Brew, Cosmic, those Super Stardom triple threats for the title.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
They
too.
were really good.
Yeah, true.
That was,
But
I think, where Chaos
I think
got
2
his start
elite
in the main
players
event.
carried
And
some
Brew.
of them.
I think it pushed all of us, honestly.
I don't think
all
that
three
was
of
my
us.
way there. Honestly, I remembered like midway. I kind of stood in the
Midway, we
mid
see Mortal Kombat. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, shut up. I stood in the mid card because I wanted to. I was just kind of
I think that
I
happened,
was waiting
too.
for you. No, I waited a whole year for him to give me like a main event title shot after I just kept winning main event mid card titles. And that's literally why I
Chaos.
have one of every title. I've spent enough
Well, you
time
joined
in
in
each
SBR
division.
11, right?
We me
Yeah.
I
and
think so.
Finley joined in the same month. I talked to
Yeah,
you
you
guys all
guys
joined in
literally
June of
within the month of
2011.
us.
Well,
That's when
yeah,
Tripod
I came with
joined.
him.
Yeah.
But yo, look,
Muhammad.
he joined in 20. Ruben probably was here the least amount of time out of everyone, and look at what he did
Well-
though. From the least, he was probably there the least.
I
amount
was
of time.
here. I was a
and
year off.
he's
in
and he
12.
threw himself up there like immediately. Not immediately, but
Mhm.
in a super like I
Yeah,
sat.
I mean-
I sat. You want to talk about somebody
Who
sat
can
in the
forget
mid-card
Golden
forever, son?
Shower?
Are you
Well,
kidding
that's
me?
where
Yeah.
when you take a guy who's so good, and that's kind of like what you were saying about how I don't know if EIF has ever been like that again in the skill. So you almost wonder if you take a guy like Chaos and his 3-year career and what he did in that era, and instead go, okay, say he did it from 15 to present day in this era, how many more reigns would he have had, or how longer would
Oh.
his reigns have been?
Oh, it would have
You know?
probably.
Well,
it probably.
we don't
it
know if
probably
he'd
would
have
have
been
reached
as good.
historic stuff.
No,
But that's
dude,
true, the game's
steel
changed
sharpens
too.
steels. Steel sharpens steels,
The game-
though. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I think he got that good because he was constantly having to fight, even outside of EIF, right? He played against me, Raymond.
Yeah,
and
I played the
Anthony,
game a lot
Brutality,
with more of the better
Finley.
people.
Yeah, he had to do it like. All
And then
the
I was
time.
thrown
So,
in
like,
matches with people like, lower card
So
people.
before pay-per-views, we'd spend hours on the game, like figuring out like game planning for a match, hours before the pay-per-view started.
We would
Does that happen
actually
now?
train.
Come
We
on,
would,
son.
Do you
you
guys?
guys would
Stuff like
actually do training sessions. You guys would actually do training sessions.
don't think
Nowadays,
that's
I
what I'm
mean, you talk about NBC being like the top guy, but if you really think about it, dude, the amount of guys that are top, like what NBC skill is, doesn't even like compete in the amount of how many people were so skilled back then. NBC
Well, look-
maybe could have joined them in top skilled, but because he's in
Well,
the
you could
modern
take
era,
guys from all different eras, dude. Like, you could put NBC in there. You could put Detchin, Legend Killer, DDV. Like, you could have scrambled a bunch. Little Jeff. Like, you put a bunch of guys from
King
like all
Blackmack,
sorts of eras.
I heard he was good at the time. I
King
guess
Blackmack was
right?
good, yeah. Black Diamond. I mean, Hollywood. Well, Hustler. I don't know if Hustler would have ever.
Hustler
been
wasn't
one
good.
of the elite.
Hustler wasn't good, but the Black Diamond was
Just
pretty
kick out.
good.
I mean,
was
even
good.
Techno
Well-
Legend, even
Yeah.
Techno Legend
Well, look, I
with
will say this:
Superstardom.
we are going on a lot, and I feel like there's a guy in the party that's like, dude, so am I getting fucking inducted or what? I mean, this just kind of changed everything.
Yeah, we hijacked.
come on,
we
Connie.
hijacked yours.
So on that
Sorry,
note,
man.
we have to cut that part of the conversation short, but we're continuing. But let's just make it official now. Everything's been said. We've done it. So it's official. Per the website, we will have that adjustment to you by the end of the night. But by the end of the night, you'll be able to go on to leaguelineup.com/EIFlives. And if you go to the EIF Superstars, under the Hall of Fame banner, Legendary Chaos's name will reside with the date he was inducted, March 23rd, 2018. So congratulations, Legendary Chaos, officially an EIF Hall of Famer.
I'm gonna do
So now-
something.
Icon, do that clap. Icon, do that clap.
There we go. I guess this is brought to you by the Hub, because that sounded like clapping I've heard before. Anyway, moving on to our next topic.
All right, wait.
Next Hall of Famer.
I just have to say, congrats, Tyrant Hunt. But I'm gonna go now.
He had to actually
Thanks.
he had to look in the party
Rip.
to see what his gamer
Chaos,
tag
thanks
was,
for
'cause he
being here,
didn't
man.
actually
We
know who he
appreciate it.
was.
I hope that these last, if you want to call it, I know you had your last match. What? Oh, fuck, 4 years
Attack
ago.
on Titan
almost,
2
but,
has a game.
Wow.
Yeah,
the
no,
disrespect.
that's included on the stream too.
Yeah, I was like,
Attack
the
on Titan is a game.
disrespect.
But
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
anyway,
I was
I
looking
hope that
at
before
it.
you leave, I hope that your last 20 minutes or so here, 20, 30 minutes or so here as a superstar, enjoying the times, were worthwhile.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was
definitely
fun.
was.
This was fun.
So, Chaos, thank you for being here.
It's a nice
And now,
throwback.
moving on to our next superstar, and a guy
Later.
who was around during this time, people just forget because he was the guy that Chaos and Icon fought when they needed wins. And that was Tyrant Hunt. But the
Was
thing
he in the
is, the
league?
truth, he was. Tyron joined EIF in the summer of 2013. So you guys, now this was probably towards the tail end of your full-time run, but Tyron was still here. Tyron was still a good guy, and
Fuck, I might
if
have
it
to leave
makes you
during
feel-
this. I just have to.
Okay, well then I'm gonna get a couple of guys in here because you're being.
Well, no, I can
So-
probably say a couple things, but like we just have to make this fast, Karn.
I'm not gonna just screw him over. Anyway.
Well, no, I know.
So
It's fine.
the NBC, have you been watching on Twitch? Now we wait.
All right, come on.
Okay. Anyway, well, moving on to our next superstar, as mentioned, all jokes aside, Tyrant Hunt is being inducted, and not necessarily for his stats. You go onto his page, he doesn't have a superstar title reign. He doesn't have an undisputed title reign or a main event championship in this league. He's held the mid-card titles a few times, but nothing unbelievable. He doesn't hold any record in EIF. He doesn't have a crazy winning streak to talk about. He hasn't won any tournaments or rumbles or money in the banks. So maybe stats, you look at this man and you think maybe he doesn't deserve to be where he is. But the guys that are in EIF now and the guys that were in EIF then know why Tyron deserves to be here. Tyrant Hunt, to me, is one of the most dedicated people in EIF today. He is a guy who never said no, and that's hard to do. For 5 years now, Tyrant Hunt's been a part of this league, and he's been asked to do a lot of things. 5-mans, triple threats, fatal 4-ways, 6-mans, tag team matches where he had to team up with a guy that maybe wasn't that good. Not that he was. One-on-ones against guys that were very difficult to beat. And one-on-ones against a guy like Brutality when Brew was on his longest reign as a world champion, a reign that lasted over 4.5 months. And Tyron had to fight him. But Tyron gave him good fights. Tyron had to be in ladder matches, but he did good in the ladder matches. Tyron had to do a lot of different matches. And he didn't always do good, but he always did the matches. That's what separates Tyrant Hunt from so many, if not every EIF superstar in history. There's at least one point in a superstar's career where they're asked to do something, a match that maybe doesn't appeal to the eye. Their answer is no. Or, can you do something else? I never heard those from Tyron. Tyron said okay, or, as he promptly likes to do frequently, or something of that variety. Wrestling Talk on YouTube. So, but in all realisticness, like I said, Tyron Hunt is seriously one of the most dedicated superstars we've ever had. Look at what he's doing right now. He's been in Hellosity, in and out, for the last year. And he did that for us. He did that for EIF. He did that because we needed a veteran and somebody to be down there with the younger talent. And Tyron Hunt is there. And he's won the championship. And he has an opportunity tomorrow at WrestleMania 11 to win it again. And Tyron doesn't care. And Tyron, if anything, he does care. He wants to win the championship, but he doesn't care about the fact that he's in the Hellosity match. He doesn't look at that as a downgrade. He looks at it as his opportunity, his part of WrestleMania. And I think that's great. That's something that a lot of people don't do. Tyron would have never even asked to be a Hall of Fame inductee, and he doesn't need to. Tyron deserves to be in the EIF Hall of Fame. And there's a lot of different guys in this league that can talk about Tyron Hunt because they know maybe what it's like through their own experiences, or maybe they just know him. You know, in EIF, politics is a big thing. And I think anywhere you go, politics will be a thing. There's always your cliques. There's always your guy that is liked by some and disliked by more, or vice versa, or maybe it's 50-50. Tyron, he's just the good neighbor of everybody. He's the guy that you just can't say a whole lot of bad about. And when you try to, he laughs it off. He doesn't mind. He doesn't get involved in the trash talking. He just is here and just tries to have fun. And you know what? We can get mad at him all we want about maybe when he doesn't do good, or the fact that Convicted pinned him when he was in yellow after he was dominating Convicted. Or the fact that he's been green barred by NBC 7 or 8 times, potentially. It's estimate. But what we
shut up, James.
But what we can't say, what we cannot say about Tyron is that he's been lazy, that he has been awful here, that he doesn't deserve to be on WrestleMania. And we definitely cannot say anymore that Tyron does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So tonight, one of the superstars that I'm going to ask to talk about Tyron is a guy who had a similar path in the beginning. Greedy is an EIF Hall of Famer and was inducted in 2016. But Greedy's path began all the way back in 2011 when he was a nobody. He came in this league and didn't really do a whole lot. He cried when he won the X Division title, for God's sakes. True story, I swear to God. Everybody bullied him. Deserved.
Am I on a trial, or is this an induction?
But Greedy went through it. He persevered through it. He did the matches. And now Greedy has not been the nicest guy like Tyron. He's been a good guy, a very good guy. And I'll be completely honest, on a personal note, Greedy's one of my best friends that I've ever met on Xbox. And there's a lot that goes into that. And I know that Greedy knows, and it's a talk I've had with Greedy several times, something he's needed to be reminded of a few times in his career, but Tyron was never reminded of that. And Greedy, you know that I always say you have
It's
to
not
do
always
what's
about
best
you.
for the league, and it's not always about you, and you're right. Tyron has always done what's right for the league, and it's not always about you, but tonight, Tyron, for you, it is. So, up to induct Tyron Hunt into the 2018 Hall of Fame. He's a superstar of legend in EIF and will go down in history as one of the greatest and most decorated superstars of all time. His career, we don't know. Has it ended? Unclear because of in-ring competition, but we just saw him a couple weeks ago and he had a lot of fun, and it's always fun to see him. He represents The Undertaker on Superstardom, and in 2 hours via Eastern Time, the real-life Mark Calloway will have a birthday as The Undertaker celebrates that, and tonight we celebrate Tyron Hunt, who also once represented Undertaker. He actually beat Tripod at the end of the 2K15 year to win the Intercontinental Championship with Undertaker. Tripod sucks. All right. Now, I introduce the guy that's going to induct Tyron Hunt, EIF 2016 Hall of Famer, multi-time world champion, the Dead Man representative, and a good friend of mine, Greedy.
I'm here. Anyway, but tonight is not about me. Tonight is about a superstar who many never thought would even get to this point today. When Tyron started his career in 2013 till now, not really much has changed in level of skill or statistics. But there is something that Tyron has always stayed true to, no matter how long he's been here, and that's his character. And I'm not talking his superstar character because I took right to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had a few different ones.
But his character as a person. It is very rare, especially in a league like this, with so many egos, knowing how competitive this league can get, knowing how much people say to each other with not a lot of filter on it or boundaries. But for somebody to go through each year, through the different eras, to know how crazy he can get in here, and not one time in the last 5 years, and I mean this, not one time, ever complain, ever fight, ever disrespect, ever trash, ever be selfish of himself. He is a guy who has always stayed true to who he is. There's been times where people would try to change who they were because they didn't like who they were. They were bullied. They tried to do things to make them over. But Tyron made sure that no matter what happened, he stayed true to his character. Tyron never was the best. He may never will be the best. He may never win a world title. But it's not about the titles. It's about the person. It's about being a competitor. It's about being the superstar. Tyron is a perfect example of someone who not only does you have to not pay to be in this league, but for someone to show that, yeah, even though we have titles and we have top prizes, we have tournaments and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it shows you that it's the members, it's the people that build, that are part of this, that participate, that constantly make it, that grow this industry, this league to be what it is. You know, Carney talked about when there'd be times that we would need Tyron for a match. I think Tyron might be in the most open invitational title opportunities we've ever had. He's always there. Now, I don't know if that's just because we have handicaps in the building, so he gets there first, or no, but
good old no legs.
Yeah, right. No, we gotta keep it funny, right? But in all seriousness, I've never seen somebody just go into a match not pressured, not scared, just there to have a good time. And so many people, whether they win or lose, come into these matches, they stress, they freak out, they lose friendships over it. Not Tyron. Tyron is such a unique individual. You know, I was thinking about, oh God, I'm going to have to make a speech for Tyron. I don't know him that well. But speeches sometimes are made for people that do the same things over and again, and we just embellish it, and we try to find new ways to create it. Tyron is so unique that you can't just come up with a generic speech or just come up with a speech right on the spot. In fact, he's somebody that you just have to look at, and you don't even have to know him for more than a month, and you just know. You just know based on who he is and how he keeps showing up and how he keeps presenting himself. It doesn't matter if you knew him for a week or 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever the case is. He's always stayed true to himself. There was a point when Tyron even got to the Superstardom title. So he did show that he had potential. And to be honest, he changed the game. He changed the game of being entertainment, because a guy like me, you know, I use promos, the gongs. I do different things to make myself interesting, to really create a story with my matches, to not just go for a win and that's it, but to really let people know who I am when I go out and compete. When it comes to well, I should say this, the philosophy in EIF for so long has been, make yourself noticeable, make yourself marked. Who's going to win the world title? Who's going to win the Superstar title? Who's going to main event WrestleMania? Who's going to main event this time? What's going to happen? What's the main event? Blah, blah, blah. Well, Tyrant changed that because for the first time, something that's never been done, we would put Tyrant in a pre-show match, in a Velocity match, in the opening match, with jobbers, people of his skill, debuts, rookies, mid-carders, main eventers. And we were so focused on seeing just how good he could do, not because he was that skilled, but because we truly just wanted to see what Tyrant was going to do. Whether he performed well or he performed bad, we were always happy to see him because he brought something so new to this league, and that's his entertainment through who he was as a character. Now, I can't say that I know him well enough to be close friends with him, but it's something that I know I will never have, and I admire and I respect him so much for it. It is very rare in this world to find people like Tyrant who doesn't complain, who doesn't argue back, who just goes with the flow. It is so rare, and those people are so important in this world because with everything going on in this world, with the league, with everything, so much stress, to know that you have people like Tyrant who will just sit there and laugh and have fun, it really comes down to, it brings you back into why we are in a league. Not just about competition, but because this is on an Xbox. This is our way of having fun. So that when we have to do schoolwork, when we have to do education, jobs, work, whatever the case is, when we come on here, we can have fun. There's a reason why this league has been going for 11 years, because we enjoy what we do. And Tyrant enjoys this league. Tyrant enjoys being here. He laughs. He doesn't look at all the negativity. He just laughs and he has a good time. And if so many people would just follow in Tyrant's footsteps, I guarantee they would be so many, well, I can't say footsteps, wheel tracks. If you would see just how much stress is released and how happy you end up becoming. And I truly hope that one day Tyrant does reach that level. But I think Tyrant has accepted it. I think we, as a league, have accepted it. But most importantly, we have respected it. We respect if Tyrant doesn't become a world champion. Because at the end of the day, Tyrant has already made his mark. Through tracks and through his character. Tonight, he leaves his legacy, his character, and it is forever cemented by the ultimate achievement of EIF, something that not many people have. People have world titles, superstar titles, but there's very few select people in this entire league that has this title, and Tyrant has one of the biggest champion titles of all, and that is tonight, to call himself an Extreme International Fighting 2018 Hall of Famer. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's kind of hard to outdo that. Obviously strong words, but that's the kind of stuff that Tyrant's been able to have an effect on people. A guy like Greedy, who they weren't best friends, they never had problems with each other, but a guy who isn't even Tyrant's best friend, but just knows what he represents. And I know Greedy keeps a heavy eye on EIF, even when he isn't always around right here with us to kind of be in the war zone, if you will. But, a guy like Tyrant, it really does. And one thing I thought Greedy touched about, which is true, is outside of Xbox, look at the world and everything that goes on. And sometimes if we smile and we laugh a bit more, maybe things get easier. So I don't want to go any further, and we are going a little long tonight, but well-deserved words for Tyron Hunt. And so now, without further ado, we allow our second and final Hall of Fame inductee for this 2018 class to speak, Mr. Tyron Hunt.
Hall of Fame. I did it. I'm here. So, So basically, been in the league for 5 years, won titles, IC, US, X Division, Velocity, recruited a lot of people. They've all left. Basically.
They've all left.
What happened to them?
That was fucking awesome.
Did you kill him, Tyron? Jesus. They left.
They all left.
Future velocity.
They're in a happier place now.
Oh my god. That was funny, Tyron. It's good.
But I am recruiting 2 more people, so hopefully they don't leave.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
Great. All right, get the free agents list loaded up.
I don't know if we have any more handicap spots. We only
Yeah,
might
we only have the
right now.
one Tyron.
Tyron's laugh sounds like Greedy's like stupid soundboard laugh that he plays. When Tyron does that.
No, Carney, that was the wheelchair. That's the wheelchair.
There it is. Oh, it's a wheelchair grease.
We need to put some oil on.
Oh, sorry.
What else is there? Titles, recruitment, people. Beat Tony Soccer Boy a couple times for the US title.
Yeah.
Hey, don't
Talk
forget
about
one
your
time you
Twitter.
beat me. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, that's a
He was here
serious
for like a
one, but-
year.
Tony Soccer.
Yeah, but look what he's done. But anyway, back to Tyron.
Yeah,
Sorry.
back to Tyron.
We're gonna have to get him
Velocity
out of the ring.
Talk about that, Tyron. How did you feel about
So,
that? When you
going
won?
into WrestleMania tomorrow, less than 15 hours away, Velocity title match, 6-man chamber match, and I'm starting out first. So, who knows
You
if I'll
fucking
win.
asshole, Carney.
Oh, thank God you muted.
But I do have 2 title matches thanks to a Carney care package that I didn't have from Carney because I've never given Carney money. Been here for 5 years, never given Carney money.
Whoa.
Damn.
We'll have to cut that
You gotta
out.
cut
But
that
go
out.
on.
What? You're breaking kayfabe here.
Yeah, man.
You could have just left it
that's
that
what
I
I-
have a Carney care package. Could have been a fucking nice advertisement there. You're fucking EIF, but you know what happened to thinking for the league.
But hey, if you wanna buy a Carney care package, go ahead. I haven't bought one, but I mean, well, technically I haven't
don't
bought
say
one, but
that.
Oh my gosh, Tyron. You're breaking the ball.
breaking the 4th wall. That's what we do around here.
You're breaking it.
Oh,
I got
man.
a YouTube channel.
That was
Wrestling Talk.
Tyron's
Go
dad.
subscribe.
Oh, let him.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
wrestling talk.
He's plugging his own channel. What the fuck is he? James Arkoffel on YouTube? What the fuck?
Quiet,
This has
James.
been
Nobody
the-
cares about your channel.
the
James
weirdest-
has a channel too.
Oh.
The weirdest
But,
Hall of Dame. I said Hall of Dame.
Hall of
Hall
Dame.
of Fame.
We're gonna put Tyron in the Hall of Fame.
I have a
Killian
YouTube
Dane?
channel. I got Facebook. I got Twitter. I
got
got
MySpace?
Mixer. I got Twitch. I
Where's
got
your
all that.
MySpace at?
There we go. That's what Tyron was
Should've-
trying to do. Just plug his shit.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
about-
Wait,
you
is there a
tonight.
pay-per-view tonight? I don't want Tyron to be on here if he has to watch it.
Yeah, we should do that. He's gonna plug his merch with little tiny wheelchairs. See them logos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever
You know,
whenever
like-
there was.
If you go to legallineup.com, we're selling exclusive Huntmobile t-shirts.
Get your
wheelchair.
handicap parking spot to represent Tyron. Put
There you
little
go.
Tyron's face on it.
Tyron doesn't have a long stroll to the arena tomorrow.
Oh no, there's a
Tyron's weapon of choice is a shopping cart.
We're rolling Tyron out exclusively in video form.
With him in it.
There's a wheelchair.
Wait a minute.
With him in
He
it.
comes attached to it.
A long round.
But anyway, Tyrant, finish off. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. What else is
No
there?
pressure.
What have I not said yet? I
Your
beat
3-time
Relic
United
Fun.
States championships.
A retired Relic Fun.
Who?
Relic Fun.
Relic
I don't remember him.
Relic Fun, you know?
Nobody.
That guy? Relic Fun?
Are you sure you didn't just quit?
Did you make him up, Tyron?
I'm pretty sure.
Tyron,
I
are you doing the
retired.
EIF
I'm
in
pretty
your
sure it
sleep again?
Wait, was he one of your
Carter
recruits?
put me in it.
No, he's making
Oh, there it
shit
is.
up.
You see the laugh? That's the one.
He's making the shit up in his sleep. He's having velocity matches and losing. Jesus, Tyron, we didn't bring you an inhaler. We only got the wheelchair for you. You only get one thing.
I guess
Alright,
that's it. I'm done. My speech is over.
Setting in the Hall of Fame.
But before we roll Tyron off,
Is it
the
weird
stage-
that my speech was longer than his?
James,
He's the
quick,
inductee?
cue up the script Hall of Fame to be the outro music.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh,
and have it fade.
oh, shit,
Anyway,
oh, shit.
as we're doing this, I'm gonna keep talking as he does
Oh,
that.
yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
There it is.
So with that, it's a dumb speech and it's a funny one, but that's the kind of person Tyron is. Laughing, and we did a lot of that this night, which I think is great. And so with that, we announced it for Chaos earlier. Tyron Hunt, congratulations. You are officially in the EIF Hall of Fame.
Good night, everybody. What?